As you'll learn soon, our commencement speaker today is a gifted communicator. He's a natural political leader, but you'll need to ask the nearly 1 million citizens of Albania's capital city, Tirana, to know if he's the kind of political leader who makes a difference in people's lives. He does. Just follow the mayor's Facebook page and you'll see that he is committed to making citizens' lives better. A new kindergarten in a poor neighborhood one day, a much-needed new sewer line in low-lying areas the next. Parks, pedestrian walkways, and other green space have sprouted weekly under his term as Tirana's mayor. And on top of all of this duties, he's running a large capital city. And he is one of the most sought-after officiants for weddings. Not a weekend goes by where Mayor Veliaj, I'm going to get it right, Veliaj, is not marrying couples on the new green roof in the historic Tirana City Hall. A 2002 graduate of Grand Valley State University, Erion Veliaj is the embodiment of the Laker effect, changing lives daily. Please give him a warm welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, hello, Grand Rapids, and hello, Lakers. I am so delighted to be here. Thank you, President Haas. Very kind, too kind almost. Dear members of the faculty, and congratulations to all of those who bid goodbye to Grand Valley and say hello to the world for the Laker effect. Now, 15 years ago, I graduated from this school. Actually, I was so excited today because I missed my own graduation. At the time, I had asked to do my capstone class in Rwanda. So my two favorite professors, Polly Div and John Costantello, said, okay, fine. You can skip classes, but you have to send your essays and make sure you show up for graduation. Well, I didn't. And then when Polly and John called, they said, you know, are you going to show up? And I said, well, you know, I'm really liking it here. So maybe, like Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say, I will be back. So I am back now. I am, you know, I'm so proud also of the parents who are here. And I remember one of the persons who suffered most from me missing my graduation and not having a picture was my own mother. So I'm going to ask you all to do a selfie for her so I can prove that I actually did graduate. So everybody raise your hands. All right, over here. Excellent. Thank you. She will be very happy. Now, when you come back to Grand Valley, as I do now after 15 years, usually the Latins have a name for the school. It's called Alma Mater, which means the mother of the soul, the nurturing mother, the nourishing mother. And you always wonder, why do they call it that way? Today I'm the mayor of Tirana. It's a lovely city, and I'm very happy the president and a few other members of the faculty will be visiting with some of the European alums. But to all of those who graduated with straight A's, I say bravo, well done, congratulations. To all of those who, like me, squeezed in some B's and C's, I say chin up, you may become mayor one day. But jokes aside, you know, it's not about being the best. Sometimes it's about doing your best. And I think the alma mater is such a powerful Latin word, which means you basically depart from the nurturing mother, which is your school, your education, the Laker community, and you're pretty much on your own. So I was wondering today whether I should read the scripted speech or maybe just share 3 thoughts that I feel deeply about departing from my alma mater, from my nourishing mother, Grand Valley, and going out into the world. One was about how important it is that we are products of our own personal stories and the events that shape us. When I was 10 years old, I lost my father in '91 in Albania. That was the time when the Berlin Wall had just collapsed, and all of those societies in Eastern Europe after the Cold War were also changing and in transition. There was a lot of rioting, there was a lot of civil unrest, and our family was very poor. Oftentimes, I had to sell dried fruit that relatives were giving to help us to eat and sell the rest so we can earn some money. And then for the first time, I left as a refugee. at the age of 11, on the shoulders of my uncle, escaping through the mountains, walking 3 days in Greece, which is a member of the European Union, and at the time, clearly a developed economy. After that, I came back so I could finish school. And then I met some wonderful friends from Grand Rapids who were volunteering in the same orphanage I was volunteering. And then they asked, why don't you consider Dave and Norma Thrasher, who are here probably and should deserve a round of applause for being my host. They are happy I did show up for one graduation. And they said, well, why don't you consider going to school? You're a smart kid, you've had a tough life. And I said, well, what school? So I was one of the first ones to apply when Grand Valley opened online applications from far away in Albania. I came here, I only had money to afford 1 semester. So then I decided to take back an opportunity, which was about helping refugees in Kosovo. At the time in the war with Serbia, and thousands pouring across the Albanian border. A company in Spring Lake, Michigan, refused to hire me. They said, did you read the application? It says 35 years old, 2 master's degrees, and 10 years of experience. And I said, nah, but if you find anyone better, then let me know. Well, they didn't. So I went back the next day, skipped about a year of school, and then came back totally changed. Was able to send some essays and do some classwork, but in the end of the day, that experience transformed me completely. Ever since, I got more committed to international relations and political science. So through Grand Valley, I got to spend a lot of time in Latin America, and then, as I said, do my capstone in Africa. And then in Africa, I had a wake-up moment. And I was working with people who had survived a genocide where 1 million people were murdered in one of the most brutal histories of humankind. And then I asked myself, but where is my Africa? And many students decide to stay in the United States, and my question was, do I become an engine in a little powerful truck, or do I become just like a little screwdriver in a huge machine like the United States, where it's very difficult to probably make a difference with so many things going on? So I made a decision to go back. And it was not an easy decision, but it was the best decision I've ever made. And I loved it when the president said, the Laker effect going around the world. Well, it was tough at the very beginning. I spent about 10 years opposing the existing government. And with a lot of friends, we tried and tried and tried again and never succeeded for 10 years. We lost several elections. We were defeated, sometimes violently. A lot of our members were beaten. A lot of the elections were rigged. But then, together with Eglantina, our other fellow, we won in 2013. We ran one of the most progressive governments in Europe, with 10 members of the government women and only 9 men for the first time in history. Two years ago, I became mayor of the city, which is one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably the best job I will ever have. But I say this not to share, just to share the story, but to also share from my heart how it is important that we all live our personal stories, because we're products of our personal stories. But I think more importantly, we should own our personal stories. I've heard everything in the political life. They've called me a faggot, they've called me a Jew, they've called me a druggie, they've called me everything. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because I own my personal story. And no matter what opponents and no matter what those who resist change can say, if you own your story, you can make a difference. And I really count Lakers can own their story, each of you individually. The second remark, there's a lot of diseases out there. There's cancer, there's AIDS, there's Zika. On just about all of these fronts, there is some solution being made, either some cure or progress towards a cure. There was one disease out there which has no cure: cynicism, the naysayers, the can-doers, all those experts who specialize to explain why things cannot be done, why you're not good enough, why you cannot change the world, why it's so difficult to achieve some progress. And I think it's absolutely wrong. If you live in this country, this is the country that sent a man on the moon. This is the country that elected an Afro-American president when no one thought it was possible. This was a country that, as President Haas explained me, there are students here making inventions for NASA. So my recommendation is, no matter what people say, don't be with the cynics. Don't be grumpy. Be an enthusiastic kid, a Laker kid in front of Lake Michigan, ready to jump into the water. And the water may be saving the Arctic or joining the Peace Corps, but please be an eternal optimist. That's a true Laker. And my third and last remark, I remember when I was skipping a lot of classes and some of my professors thought I needed counseling. So they sent me to the counselors to sort of get me straightened up. And then the counselors tell you about that, Erion, you should, a student, you should then think about the future. You should think about saving for retirement. You should think about 401k, stuff I could barely pronounce at the time. You should think about investing in stock. But one thing I learned that we as millennials believe, which was very encouraging news, is that 85% of us in the millennial generation do not believe that money is the most important things in life. And I think that's powerful. And it's a huge shift that the majority of our generation does not think it's all about the money, because it isn't. And if I have one recommendation, if I was your counselor today, is don't invest on money, invest in people. Because an investment in people, on those who are sitting left and right, in your front and in your back, are a long-lasting investment. I meet people all the time who tell me, no, I can't trust people. They're full of intrigue, they gossip, they blackmail, they backstab me. That's fine. Banks lose loans all the time. They still keep giving credit. So it's fine. 2, 3, 4, 5 bad apples, who cares? But an investment in people is an investment that will take you for a lifetime. I've learned from my experience there's 2 types of leadership. One is you sit on top of people and they try with their tiny shoulders to pull you up, or you push them up. Because by pushing the people around you up, by making sure they give their best, then you have become your best. And I think this is the type of leadership that President Haas and the faculty exercises here at Grand Valley. They push people up. And by pushing people up, it's up to the alumni and the Laker effect to prove how this leadership and investment in people is the best way forward. I want to summarize with just 2 lines from a great poet, Robert Frost, who says, I do not see why I should ever turn back, or those should not set forth upon my track. To overtake me, who should miss me here? And long to know I held them dear. They would not find me changed from him they knew, only more sure of all I thought was true. And what is true here at Grand Valley is that the Laker effect, that sense of optimism, investing in people, being always there for each other, is what will take us forward. Thank you very much. And please own your own story as you move forward. God bless.
Thank you, Aaron, for those great words. At this time, I'd like to invite Board Chair Kennedy and Provost Davis to join me. Erion Veliaj. Erion Veliaj, you are among the rising generation of leaders in Albania. After completing high school in Tirana, you moved to the United States and to Grand Valley State University, from which you earned a degree in political science. After working for humanitarian organizations in the Americas, Africa, and Europe, you returned to Albania, where you became the National Minister of Social Welfare and Youth. In June of 2015, you were elected the 42nd mayor of Tirana, the national capital. You've already improved the city's infrastructure, reduced air pollution, and used technology to enhance the quality of life for its citizens. Your energetic style of leadership has won you much support from your constituents. Your alma mater, Grand Valley State University, takes great pride in your success. Now, therefore, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Public Service Honoris Causa with all its rights and privileges. Congratulations.